Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. You know that time where we're creeping very closely to a new season update. The Season 3 Reloaded update drops next week, and Treyarch have brought the heat by dropping the first teaser of what to expect for zombies content, and this is the big one. We are getting the Outbreak Easter Egg. Confirmed in black and white on Treyarch's Twitter account, it reads, "The hunt begins May 20th. So if you didn't already know, that is when Season 3 Reloaded is going to drop, and by the sounds of it, that's when the Easter egg will go live for Outbreak. One of the main leads on Cold War Zombies, Kevin Drew, tweeted, "Bigger playground this time. Can't wait to watch the hunt, and I'm hoping it takes just a little longer to solve." So even Treyarch understand that the Firebase Easter egg being solved in 2 and a bit hours was a bit ridiculous. So by the sounds of it, this egg hunt should take a little longer, which is anything but a good thing. Now, accompanied with this, we have our first teaser image, which doesn't look like much, but there is a lot of fine details for storyline that we can break down here, which is really cool. So we have an image of what's being described as a beacon communications receiver. There's a sticky note attached to this blueprint that says, "I've come into possession of this device. I think it will be useful for what lies ahead." And then on the right, it says, "I know what Omega is planning. We must stop them before it is too late. R." Well, first of all, we know that the M is for Maxis and R is for Ravenov, the ex-Omega Group captain that we get to know quite well in Firebase Z, and is hinted at a lot in recent intels from Samantha that Ravenov is someone that we can trust. We'll talk about Ravenov again in a moment, but if you've been following the videos recently talking about the storyline and what's upcoming for zombies, this is really darn exciting. We know that in the future we're going to be going to Berlin. The reason why we want to go to Berlin is that Dr. Valentina wants to launch Operation Inversia, which are these warheads to open dark ether portals around the world to resurrect the dead German soldiers from World War II. The description for this device reads under here, saying the beacon communications receiver is designed for use with the dark ether beacon mechanism, which is what we use to transport between different regions of the Ural Mountains. So we can expect visibly in the game, the beacon is going to get an upgrade, and this thing is going to be living above it. Once the connection is established, the receiver enables communication through otherwise inaccessible broadcast frequencies, perfect for emergency field use as the channel cannot be interrupted or decrypted through traditional methods. Now, a really important detail to look on this blueprint is in the top. It's called a beacon communications receiver from the Psychotronics division at Omega. Now, when Omega Group was originally formed in 1975, they were formed to identify, study, and weaponize psychotronic phenomena. And we know from Valentina's history at Omega, this included extrasensory perception, telekinesis, and pyrokinesis. From intels and Firebase Z as well as Outbreak, we know that Omega are trying to weaponize the undead. They're trying to weaponize the arm cannons from the Manglers as well as the crystals from the Tempests, but this is the first time we've seen any actual weapons come from Omega Group, so this is really exciting. And if we look in the bottom right, we can see that this was designed by Dr. Alexandra Valentina, and this just goes in hand with what she's been planning to do to try and communicate with the Dark Ether via the beacon. Now, what's really interesting is that this is dated the 23rd of July, but if we look in the intels, we can see that literally a day before this design went out on the 22nd, she made a diary note about how her meeting with Kravchenko didn't go to plan whatsoever, because now her vision for Operatia Inversia is far different now that it's being led by Kravchenko and not her. We believe that she is being manipulated and spoken to by the One, who is that godlike entity which is trapped in the dark ether, but she mentions that she's been waiting so long for this day to come, for the One to return. It says that there's no rush in this plan, there's no need to provoke the bear, but very interestingly, we have a mention of Captain Ravenov here. In the last sentence, she says perhaps the captain could be useful after all to derail their plan. So whilst to us this seems like fantastic information that Ravenov has gotten hold of this to share with Maxis, this almost sounds like this is exactly what Valentina wants us to do. She wants us to discover this, find out about this, and try to think that we're one step ahead, but in fact we really aren't. But Ravenov seems to believe that, you know, he knows what Omega is planning and we must stop them before it is too late. And I have a weird suspicion that we aren't going to be able to do that, but it's going to be very interesting nonetheless on trying to do that. So looking at this teaser in general, looking at how this will impact the gameplay, how this will affect the Easter egg and what we can expect, this will definitely be an item on top of the beacon, which is going to directly open communications into the dark ether, where we're going to be talking to someone who's going to be guiding us through what to do. Potentially that could be Samantha, because she's been in the dark ether before. It could be Ravenov. It could even be the stranger, who we now know the identity of through the recent intels. But at the same time, imagine if this was the first bit of communication that we directly had with the One, where he could directly talk to us and talk basically to this reality, and it shape what is going to happen with DLC 2 with Berlin. We know from intels, after Peck arrives at the Ural Mountains, he deduces that the site and the unique specimens present would allow Omega to advance Operatia Inversia and develop specialized warheads for strategic strikes on designated targets authorized by the Kremlin. Imagine that sort of thing happening in, you know, live gameplay, where we see these warheads launching from the Ural Mountains, striking the different parts of the world, including Berlin. That would be absolutely awesome. But by the sounds of it, we're going to be getting more teasers like this to come, because we're 8 days away from this update dropping. And yeah, the marketing has always been pretty good when a massive update's come along. It seems like it's going to be quite a significant update, not only for zombies, but yeah, this is definitely needed. I really hope we get a lot more teasers between now and then, but also just some really robust, cool teasers. This is definitely a great start, but we want to see a trailer. We want to see a little bit more, and I'm sure that is on its way. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Drop a like, subscribe. I'll catch you for another one soon.